This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mike Kelly.
Yabba dabba dabba doo, it's the Mike Kelly Shorter Than Short podcast for you.
With the warm voice, the honest face, let's welcome the star of the show. Hey up, it's Mikedjkelly with episode 102 of the Mikedjkelly Shorter Than Short podcast and the special What's Happened to the Weather, Who Can We Blame edition.
On this week's podcast.
Coming up, my amazing digital friend Joyce, fake showbiz news, recommend a pod, charities, teeth, buy now, pay later, Elvis, holidays, trams, solar power, Asda, plus lots of stuff you don't know that you don't know until you know.
Please welcome the star of the show, your host, Mikedjkelly.
Before we start, do you remember my mate from work?
Yes, the gorgeous Scott.
No, not him, the other one. The one who had all his top teeth removed and some temporary ones screwed in until his permanent ones are ready. Well, they're ready, and he's going to have them permanently installed. So what I was wondering is when they unscrew and take out the temporary teeth, what happens to them? Do they clean them up and use them as a temporary set of teeth on the next unsuspecting person having the same procedure?
No, you are wrong. They are sent to the RSPCA and PDSA and used on animals that need replacement teeth.
This is the Shorter Than Short Mike Kelly podcast.
I'm Mike Kelly with the latest Shorter Than Short news. Our top story, new rules from July for buy now pay later schemes should stop people taking out loans to buy a Big Mac. Standard Charter CEO Bill Winters to return the company's Great Place to Work award following remarks he made about lower value human capital while discussing the bank's plans to replace approximately 7,800 back office jobs with artificial intelligence and automation. Ministers and MPs say following the national feel-good mood from the 2 May bank holidays, Parliament is to look to introducing 4-day working weeks ASAP. Parents upset by Watchdog's report into Ryanair charging parents £8 to sit with their children, whereas most parents would prefer to sit several rows away from their children. Keir Starmer's Labour government have solved the NHS crisis. They have banned people from being ill. It's now illegal to be sick, in pain, dying, suffering, injury or mental illness. That's it. You're up to date with all the news that is news this hour. I'm Mike Kelly for STS News.
Yabba dabba dabba doo, it's the Mike Kelly Shorter Than Short podcast for you.
Morning, Joyce. You look very refreshed.
I'm freezing. I have just done 3 minutes in the ice tub.
I thought that trend had died out years ago. Mind you, keep getting emails to buy an inflatable, portable ice bath for £14.95 from IJT Direct.
I did 3 minutes, but I'm working up to 10 minutes. That's the maximum you are allowed to do. I'm filming it and putting them all on TikTok.
So anyone with a smartphone, a bucket and tap water and a freezer can participate. How do people get to see you on TikTok? What do they need to do to search for it? Is it something like frozen old bird?
No, it is not. You need to search for Chilled Joyce. It's cool on here.
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mike Kelly.
And what's out there on those social media sites? Prima Seeker, Sainsbury's boss eyes bumper 7.3 million payday as shoppers reel from higher food prices, up from 5.4 million last year, 200 times the average employee pay. Governments preach pay restraint to workers. Silence on executive pay, shareholder returns, let workers vote on executive pay. Blade of the Sun, there is no benefit to you from privatising energy, banking, housing, healthcare, public transport, water, food, telecoms, or anything that the majority of people have to use. The only benefit comes to the billionaires who own them and rip you off forever. Nationalise it all. Nina Jar, Ultimately, a medically unqualified person allowed to perform an intimate examination on a child, misdiagnosed and treated incorrectly, which led to harm. The mother thought the PA was a GP. This is negligence. The unethical PA experiment on patients must be stopped. Robbie. The Somerset farmhouse of 1 North Street, Williton, were approached by a food influencer that wanted to charge them £2,000 for a review. They put out a video of Sally eating a sausage roll instead. Let's make Sally and Somerset farmhouse famous for 3. And a couple of those odds and bobs. Notice at Rowhead Farm on their social media sites said there will be no alpaca walking for the next couple of weeks as Elvis is being a twat at the moment. Newspaper headlines saying Andrew Mountbatten Windsor sublet 3 cottages while paying peppercorn rent to Crown Estate. Whilst I think this is wrong, none of the stories I read said MPs do similar things with their homes while living rent-free.
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mikedjkelly.
So who is Hissing Sid? And is he innocent? Depends who you ask. Timid Toad and Reckless Rat are not his biggest fans. The follow-up 80s album, The Trial of Hissing Sid, led to a massive public sensation, with the slogan Hissing Sid is innocent appearing as graffiti on bridges, badges and car stickers, not to be confused with 70s Sex Pistol bassist Sid Vicious, who is famous for his chaotic, nihilistic persona, as he is for his music. His quotes perfectly capture the raw, sarcastic and self-destructive ethos of the 1970s punk rock.
Yabba dabba dabba doo, it's the Mikedjkelly Shorter Than Short podcast for you.
Well, hello. It's not my fault you've ended up listening to this. Blame the algorithm or AI. But while you're here, why not tell a friend or two about the Mikedjkelly Shorter Than Short podcast show? Let's get everybody listening. Please text or email the link to this podcast to your friends and family, or just resend or tweet my original message.
This is the Shorter Than Short Mikedjkelly podcast.
And in our We Want Him Back on the Telly spot, this week it's Nigel George Planer, a British actor, writer and musician. His TV credits include playing Neil in the sitcom The Young Ones, Ralph Filthy in the sitcom Filthy Rich and Cat Flap, and narrating the children's animated series Grizzly Tales for Gruesome Kids. He has appeared in many West End musicals, including as part of the original cast of Evita, Chicago, We Will Rock You, Wicked, and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. He has also appeared in Hairspray. We want Nigel George Planer back on the telly.
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mikedjkelly.
Today's do-gooders are swanlifeline.uk. Swan Lifeline is the oldest registered charity devoted entirely to the care of sick and injured swans in the Thames Valley and surrounding areas. Swan Lifeline was founded in 1986 by a small group of people who've been involved with swan rescue and treatment for many years from a base in Windsor. Swan Lifeline rescues and provides shelter and treatment for sick and injured swans. Our aim is to return them to the wild as soon as possible. We educate the public about the incidents and effects of pollution and human activities on swans and other wildfowl on the UK's rivers and waterways. We aim to provide a professionally managed treatment centre to continue in perpetuity, not dependent upon any one person or group for its survival. Find out more, join in, help at swanlifeline.uk.
The Mikedjkelly Shorter Than Short podcast.
Today's music quiz features a song from a film. What's the song and who performed it? Guess mine is not the first heart broken. My eyes are not the first to cry. I'm not the first to know. There's just no getting over you. Name the song or the artiste.
I cannot remember the title, but I know who it is. It's the lovely yummy Jason Donovan. Tell me I'm right.
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mike Kelly.
If you're new to the Mikedjkelly Shorter Than Short podcast, you can still hear all previous episodes just by searching or shouting the Mikedjkelly Shorter Than Short podcast. You can also catch me on BCB 106.6 FM on a Tuesday at midday. That's at bcbradio.co.uk.
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mike Kelly.
In the new Fitno era, where nobody can stay at home when ill, especially now that they've stitched us up and everybody is on 0-hour contracts, casual contracts or freelance agreements, meaning if you don't go to work, you don't get paid. So if you go in sick, make everyone else sick, and so on. And still on medical news, more than 1,300 patients a month are dying due to long waits in A&E, up from 30 a week in 2015. To cut the queues, NHS bosses are now suggesting A&E patients with non-urgent ailments may be told to come back later or go somewhere else under new NHS plans. Physician associate wrongly prescribes for a 5-year-old child. The child's mother thought she was being seen by a doctor. Parliamentary and Health Service Ombudsman said there were multiple failures in the care of the girl.
I'm not going to get sick, not that you would pay me, if I was. Anyway, all this World Cup stuff has made me want to get fit.
So you have started playing football? A five-a-side walkabout team, is it?
Certainly not. I'm into the new craze high-speed tennis.
Oh yeah, what's that when it's at home?
Padel, pronounced padel, is a high-energy hybrid of tennis and squash. It is highly accessible, easy to pick up, and incredibly social.
So where do you play that? Is it in the church hall?
No, they are building padel centres everywhere. I am going to the one where Petty's used to be, where the TV studios are. And before you ask, there are lots of dishy fellas going, but that's not why I joined, honest.
Live across the universe, it's the Mikedjkelly Shorter Than Short podcast.
Not feeling well? Unable to get a GP appointment? And don't fancy a long wait in A&E? You need the new DIY Medicus app. No more PAs pretending to be doctors for you. You can use the app to self-diagnose and treat yourself. Yes, you can be the doctor. Simply type in your age, national insurance number, weight, height, postcode, and it'll work out what's wrong with you. It will give you ways to get yourself feeling well again, using simple stuff found around the home. Dandelion leaves, garlic, string, pliers, hammers, etc. However ill you feel, the DIY Medicus app will cure it. Feel well and never need a day off work again. Full details on where to buy at the end of the podcast.
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mike Kelly.
So you're looking forward to your summer holidays and those post-Brexit border checks, EES biometric entry-exit systems at the airports at either end of your flight. So twice going and twice coming back. Who's to blame? Well, border control remains the sole responsibility of national authorities, with the industry group blaming delays on understaffing, glitchy self-service kiosks, malfunctioning e-gates, and a laggy central EES IT system. You need to allow extra time for your check-ins. In some cases, it's taking so long, flights are departing without passengers. You can always go by ferry or Eurostar, but the new checks are causing delays there as well. But at Dover, when the queues get too long, they just stop bothering to check. You could always go to Cyprus. That doesn't use the new system. But I have always found Larnaca Airport to be very slow anyway. Also, it's quite near to Iran. With global warming, why not stay at home and get a Mediterranean-type tan at Filey or Bridlington?
This is the Shorter Than Short Mike Kelly podcast.
More from the social media sites. Zara Sultana, MP, Nigel Farage, was rehabilitated by ITV when it paid him £1.5 million to appear on I'm a Celebrity. He is also joint second for most appearances on BBC Question Time. When I say the entire media class is complicit in the normalisation of Islamophobic and anti-migrant rhetoric, I mean it. End bird shooting? How on earth has bird shooting become so normalised in the UK? Every year, around 50 million non-native pheasants and partridges are bred in captivity, raised on farms and released into the British countryside just so they can be shot out of the sky for entertainment. According to Green Girl Bella UK, it now costs £7.99 for a Flake 99 ice cream from an ice cream van in London. Warm Remedy UK, Tower Hamlets councillors have voted themselves pay rises of up to 130% just 3 weeks after being elected. The East London Authority, with Britain's highest child poverty rate, approves increases. Britain's highest level of child poverty, but a councillor gotta eat, right? Deb's World. Did you know Nottingham is the home of the tightest tram curve in the UK? At the top of Victoria Street and Fletchergate, the tram line bends through an incredibly tight 18-metre radius curve as it weaves its way through Nottingham's historic medieval streets.
Yabba dabba dabba doo, it's the Mike Kelly Short and Short podcast for you.
Fake Showbiz News at Fake Showbiz News. Rita Ora reveals she's quite good at recognising when a scene in a TV or movie is going to turn out to be a dream. There are telltale signs if you know what to look for, she told BBC Radio Cornwall. Breaking, Elon Musk is no longer a trillionaire after buying some fruit from M&S and then fish and chips for tea. Kemi Badenoch says it's disgraceful that fun-loving criminals brazenly rapped about their illicit activities throughout Sir Keir Starmer's time in charge of the Crown Prosecution Service, yet he made no attempt to bring them to justice.
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mike Kelly.
Don't forget, my pod-picking friends, if you want to get in touch about anything to do with the Shorter Than Short podcast, please use the following to contact us, and if you have any stories, gossip, jokes or anything for the next episode, do connect and follow. It's Mikedjkelly on Blue Sky Social. Don't forget, you can always buy us a coffee. Go to Ko-fi at ko-fi.com/Mikedjkelly. Any monies raised will go to charity. Guess the celebrity, born in Germany and raised in England. He studied at Magdalene College, Cambridge, during which time he met his future wife. They ran a successful costume jewellery business throughout the 1980s until the stock market crash of 1987. In 1989, he made his TV debut as a regular on This Morning with a gardening segment, which led to further television work across the decade, including his own shows for BBC TV and Channel 4. He began his writing career at this time and published his first of over 25 books in 1990. Between 1994 and 2006, he wrote a weekly gardening column in The Observer. Who is he?
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mike Kelly.
Go on then, let's do it. We've not done it for a while. Let's have a bit of Trump news. According to The Intellect, Donald J. Trump commuted the prison term of David Gentile, who less than 2 weeks after he began serving a 7-year sentence in a $1.6 billion fraud that prosecutors said harmed more than 10,000 investors. Heard a story about tourism in America? It's declining and wondered why that could be. Turns out domestic tourism remains strong, but the country has faced significant Trump slump in international arrivals, driven by stricter border policies, visa hurdles, and geopolitical tensions. The US has experienced consecutive years of declining international arrivals. The most notable drop is from Canada, followed by key European markets like the UK and Germany. So, what about the cost of living? Overall, Americans are highly dissatisfied with the cost of living. Widespread financial anxiety has driven public approval regarding economic management to a new low. A recent Gallup Finance poll found that a record 55% of Americans say their financial situation is worsening. The United States consistently ranks around 23rd on the World Happiness Report, lagging behind many other developed nations. The decline is driven by younger generations, while older Americans remain relatively content. Happiness, happiness. Oh, if only Ken Dodd was here when you needed him. Happiness, happiness, the greatest gift that I possess. I thank the Lord that I've been blessed with more than my share of happiness. Happiness, happiness. I know, it's uncanny. So, 23rd in the World Happiness Charts, that's not very good, but where's the UK in the World Happiness Charts? The Nordic countries' high happiness rankings are generally attributed to their extensive social welfare programs, strong community connections, and robust interactions with nature. Finland also benefits from low levels of corruption and a cultural emphasis on balance rather than relentless hustle. Surprisingly, the long winters do not significantly reduce happiness in the Nordic countries, and the top 10 happiest countries are, starting at number 10, Switzerland. Number 9, it's Luxembourg. We could do with a bit of Fluff Freeman chart music here. Number 8, Israel. Number 7, Netherlands. Number 6, Norway. And the top 5, it's Sweden. 4, Costa Rica, 3, Denmark, 2, Iceland, and number 1, it's Finland. No English-speaking country is in the top 10. The United Kingdom ranks 29th. The United States ranks 23rd. Canada ranks 25th. And Australia ranks 15th. Heavily driven by a drop in happiness amongst young people aged under 25.
This is the Shorter Than Short Mikedjkelly podcast.
And in our Something You Don't Know spots, here's a nice one from the Give a Shit About Nature site. A bricklayer in East Yorkshire has spent 35 years putting up barn owl nest boxes on weekends. This year, the region saw 300 owlets hatch. His name is Robert Salter. He is 56 and does bricklaying full-time. In 1990, he saw a piece on the news about a man in Lincolnshire installing barn owl boxes and decided he'd do the same. He started with 5. He now has more than 350 boxes scattered across fields, farms, outbuildings and trees in East Yorkshire. Every June, he takes 4 weeks off from bricklaying and visits them with his wife Sue, scrambling up ladders, ringing chicks, cleaning boxes, repairing the ones the weather has got to. He is a licensed bird ringer for the British Trust for Ornithology. In 2024, the region ringed 95 owlets. In 2025, the count was 308. The Barn Owl Trust says that nationally this year was pretty poor for barn owl breeding, but East Yorkshire is the exception, and it's the exception because of one man with a ladder. Here's another interesting one from Made in England. Terry's Chocolate Orange was born in York in 1932. Terry's of York was founded in 1767. Kraft bought the business in 1993. They reportedly told unions production had to move because the old factory could not cope, and they were looking for a new site in York. Instead, the York factory closed in 2005. 316 jobs were lost. Production moved to Kraft sites across Europe. Today, your chocolate orange is made in France by Camembert & Co. The historic factory, now flats, offices and a care village, another famous English brand, hollowed out until only the name was left.
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mikedjkelly.
If you want to get in touch with this top-rated and sometimes much listened to podcast, please connect and get in touch about anything to do with the Shorter Than Short podcast. We are on most social media sites at Mikedjkelly. Indeed, if you want a podcast making for your business or need any help with radio producer or presentation work, travel news, voiceover work, podcast editing, please do get in touch. Do tell your friends about the podcast. All they need to do to find it is search on Google for the Mikedjkelly Shorter Than Short podcast.
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mikedjkelly.
So why do we want a cashless society? Is it to stop coins wearing holes in your trouser pockets? Or is it so banks can make more money? The story goes, you give £50 to the butcher for his bill, he pays the baker £50, and he pays the flour mill £50. Each of these people get £50. But going cashless means each one of those transactions pays a cut to the bank, and the £50 comes down in value every time. Make sure you pay all small local traders in cash.
Yabba dabba dabba doo, it's the Mikedjkelly Shorter Than Short podcast for you.
Saw a story recently about EV breakdown calls which are due to tyre failures which happen at twice the rate of petrol or diesel cars. Most traditional cars carry spare tyres, EVs do not. The tyre issues are caused by the weight of the car and battery, and to cut back on weight they do not carry a spare tyre, which means the breakdowns take much longer to resolve. Army's Challenger Ajax tank, the next generation fighting machine, which has issues with noise and vibration, is still not in service, despite costing nearly £6 billion. And so it is a final burst from the social media sites. The old grey thinker, my generation was handed 3 university education, affordable housing and jobs that came with pensions attached. We then spent 3 decades making all 3 harder to access for everyone who came after us. The extraordinary thing is how surprised we seem about the results. Brad. So let me get this straight. When immigrants take jobs, it's a national crisis. AI takes jobs, it's innovation. Can someone explain why we're supposed to fear people willing to work, but celebrate technology designed to replace workers? Stephen Blair. If anyone thinks that self-checkouts won't lose jobs, tell them to speak to Asda employees. Today, 300 people lost their jobs due to automation. It's just been on the news. Catherine C.J. Hall. Why do we have to register everywhere now? Just to watch something on telly or order something online? Create a password. Put in a code. Opt in to junk that you know you'll just unscribe to. Everything's become a complete palaver these days. Fed up with it. No BS therapist. I don't want a pop-up asking me to rate my experience before I've had one. I don't want a car that sells my braking data to an insurance company. I don't want to write a review on my toilet seat cover. I don't want a toothbrush that sends me a brushing score like I'm a child. I don't want a washing machine that requires Wi-Fi. I don't want my TV to be a glorified eavesdropper I don't want a gamified checkout experience to buy detergent. I don't want to manage a relationship with my printer. Ian visits. Today I learned that when you hear about the price of a barrel of oil, the size of the barrel, 159 litres, is based on the size of whiskey containers from the 1870s.
This is the Shorter Than Short Mike Kelly podcast.
For the first time on record, wind and solar generated more global electricity than gas-fired power plants over a single month in April 2026. While this milestone has only been achieved for a single month so far, spring conditions in the Northern Hemisphere typically combine high wind and rising solar. The broader global trend points to a rapid structural shift away from fossil. Yes, wind and solar energy are significantly cheaper to produce than traditional coal and gas across their lifespans. However, while these technologies inherently lower overall wholesale electric costs, whether these savings are fully passed on to your household depends heavily on complex pricing mechanisms and market rules.
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mike Kelly.
And on those data centres, let's have a bit of stuff from Lydia Rogers, 1011. There is a quiet crisis brewing beneath the UK's tech sector. Nearly 100 new data centre applications are moving through the UK planning system to protect local drinking water. 90% of them are designed as dry facilities, but there's a major catch. Traditional data centres use water evaporation to cool servers cheaply. Dry systems can't do this. Instead, they rely on massive power-hungry mechanical fans and compressors. The physics are simple. Dry cooling requires up to 15% electricity to run. This power penalty is breaking the grid. UK data centres consume roughly 6% of our national electricity supply. Because of the industry's massive pivot to dry systems and AI workloads, energy regulator Ofgem warns the sector's peak demand could double. So who pays for this surge? Big tech pays for the power they use, but plugging a massive data centre into the grid requires multi-billion-pound infrastructure upgrades, like high-voltage substation pylons and miles of underground cabling. Under current Ofgem rules, the cost of upgrading the national network is socialised. This means the bill for reinforcing the grid is split across every single household in Great Britain, showing up as steady hidden rises in your fixed daily standing charges. And remember, by the way, data centres are almost all American owned and have cost billions, but nobody has worked out how to make money from them.
Yabba dabba dabba doo, it's the Mike Kelly Shorter Than Short podcast for you.
And in the late news, the European social media network, is launching from June the 17th and from the 25th of June in the UK. To join the waiting list, go to wsocial.eu. Ministers warn they must find the courage to scrap the UK's wasteful and expensive triple lock state pension. Maybe they could do it after having a skinful in the House of Commons subsidised bar to get a little Dutch courage. Palantir, the nation's favourite digital data collector, wins a £9 million contract to run UK firearms licensing, CIA-backed business to hold gun, bomb and poison records.
I'm sorry, Mr. Kelly. You are out of time. You must stop now.
Okay, it's time to go. Guess the song or name the artiste who had a hit with the song these lines came from. Guess mine is not the first heart broken. My eyes are not the first to cry. I'm not the first to know. There's just no getting over you. It was Olivia Newton-Bomb from the movie Grease, and that's not the country, it's the film with the song Hopelessly Devoted to You. Yes, the celebrity, born in Germany and raised in England, he studied at Magdalene College, Cambridge, during which time he met his future wife. They ran a successful costume jewellery business throughout the 1980s until the stock market crash of 1987. In 1989, he made his TV debut as a regular on This Morning with a gardening segment, which led to further TV work across the decade, including his own shows for BBC TV and Channel 4. He began his writing career at this time and published his first of over 25 books in 1990. Between 1994 and 2006, he wrote a weekly gardening column in The Observer. Who is he? Montague Dennis Wyatt Don, OBE DLVMH. Born George Montague Don, 8th of July 1955, he is an English horticulturist, broadcaster and writer who is best known as the lead presenter of the BBC gardening TV series Gardener's World. So, Monty Don. Today's do-gooders are swanlifeline.uk. And guess what? It's been a blast as ever, but that's enough for this special What Happened to the Weather and Who Can We Blame edition of the crazy Shorter Than Short podcast show. From me, Mike Kelly.
And me, Joyce. Don't forget to tell your friends to listen to the Mikedjkelly Shorter Than Short podcast because I'm on it.
Thanks for listening, and remember, you can always find the podcast by searching or shouting the Mikedjkelly Shorter Than Short podcast.
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mike Kelly.
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mike Kelly.
Yabba dabba dabba doo, it's the Mike Kelly Shorter Than Short podcast for you.